started. Welcome to the 2024-2025 TCSOL program. Okay. Yes.
That's exactly what this program does, to produce localized Chinese instructors and country-specific Chinese instructors.
And one of my favorite Chinese quantifiers, 量词, and what we call that classifiers, I guess, 量词 is 门, door. Why is it my favorite quantifier? Because I think it's a door, 一门语言. How many languages can you speak? 你能说几门语言? It's a door. On either side of the door, on both sides, you have differences. But through this language, through opening this door, you go embrace the differences, you go watch them, you go see them, you observe, and then you go through the door, through the language, you embrace them.
This is the first tone. Look at this. This is the first tone. And it starts from this point. And this point actually is much higher than the starting point of first tone. So that's why the key for pronouncing first tone well is starting high. In Chinese, the instructor has his brain, and his brain stored naturally acquired pronunciations of his native language, right? So when he pronounces, samples of Chinese syllables or flow of Chinese.
So, first and second languages, what's the difference?
So there is the distinction, but I think someone can very well acquire a second language to an extent that they are fluent in expressing emotions, harness energy, and spontaneity.
At this point in time, what do you think about this quote? So we cannot really teach language. We can only create conditions in which it will develop spontaneously in the mind in its own way.
Yeah, I think basically this quote is saying that who is responsible for the learning is the learner. And actually, that is the key. The teacher just enables that learning to happen by providing them with the resources that they need, by creating conditions.
Okay, all right, so here I'm gonna put you into different groups. Since we talked about how to teach writing last time, I want you to consider the following questions and discuss with your partners. If we're talking about writing here, okay? First, what should feedback be mainly on for students writing? Do you think the feedback should be mainly on their language, their content, or their organization?
而不仅仅是要去考虑他的语言水平。所以他2年级，他如果是他自己国家的一个节日，他能搞清楚吗？2年级的小朋友，如果我没有记错的话，我女儿2年级的时候，一些美国的节日，老师也是让他们很死板的在写啊，美国的这个什么节日是什么什么，但是可能你让他去发表啊，让他去说，他可能用英文，他可能也不知道是一个什么样的节日。但是可能到了4年级是不是更好一些？所以大家也要去考虑你学生，所以为什么让大家去分析第一段也要写？所以让大家综合的去考虑，如果这个老师的学生的背景是这样子的，他课上这样子讲，那他这样子讲好不好？那好在哪里？不好在哪里？
是可以调它的语速慢一点，那这个就是一个正常一般我们讲话的语速，但我们也可以就是在加强他的听力的能力的时候，我可以加强他的语速。那这边我可以把我的字全部的字通通都把它 disable， 就通通都不要出现，我只要训练听完之后再来让学生讨论，那刚刚所播放出来的到底讲了什么，内容是什么这样子哈。好，那你可以有各种不同很多次你去读，你可以不限任何的地方或者是时间。那你可以做比如说可以给 assign 学生在上课之前你要先读，那 assign 学生上课之后要做复习。那说的部分就刚我提到的哈，就是有单字、双字到。
Last name here and first name here.
So Javanese is what's used on the main side.
So starting with pragmatics, what is it? So when we think about language, these are the things we typically think about, right? Vocabulary, grammar, pronunciation. They're really, really important. And a lot of what we teach this stuff. There's also a thing called pragmatics, which is what today's workshop is about. And pragmatics used to be referred to as the wastebasket of linguistics. So if it's not vocabulary, if it's not grammar, it's not pronunciation, there's this thing language related, but we can't quite characterize it, it's pragmatics. So the situation is you're at friend's house, your parents dinner cooked for you, and they want you to eat more. You're really full, you don't want to eat anymore. You want to refuse more eating. And what are some of the responses? I'd love to hear that.
Maybe using eye contact and to let her friend know that she's already full, and maybe let her to tell her parents, oh, it's okay. She's not a big eater like that.
Here's some of the questions for your consideration. You don't have to limit yourself to this list. For example, what do you think you could do differently now to teach a language compare with before you took this course, or compare with before you joined this program? And New Year is coming. As the current, in-service or pre-service language teacher, do you have any New Year's resolution as a language teacher? And what is one thing you really like about the class?
or do you have any other reflections?
因为我之前，前几天我曾经就是给自己一个总结，就是说期末了，就是我在这里边的收获是什么。然后我觉得还是特别值。我说我这个至少我对得起这个学费，就是OK，you know，因为在国内，说实话，对然后呢，因为我最大的收获，实话就是我重新做到这样的课堂里边，我从老师的这种方法上，就是学到好多跟学生互动的这些包括氛围啊什么把控啊各种，就给我从一个学生的角度，然后我吸收到好多对我有帮助的方法。
For me, winter break is quite packed because I got to know several new friends who's really interested in learning Chinese.
So I took a trip to Taiwan for 2 weeks and went to a handful of different places, some in some cities, some in nature.
It was an unforgettable adventure, though it felt a bit like a special forces mission because we traveled to many places within a very limited time.
Wonderful. Welcome to the first session of Practicum 2. So last semester you had Practicum 1. This is your second semester in the TCSOL program. TBLT, once again, stands for Task-Based Language Teaching. All right, let's look at the tasks.
I posted the listing, matching, and timelines.
The first one is listing. I do listing almost every day. Yes, that's that one.
That one. Okay, listing.
Yeah, I list what I am going to do every day in the morning.
Paying for rent and cooking. Whose task?
It's mine.
Oh,
Reading.
I'm glad you are not doing that. Who can afford to pay rent every day, right? Yeah, I'm glad you're not doing that, but definitely that's a task. If you don't pay, you get kicked out by the landlord, right? Okay.
Yeah,
so square is 平方。
Yeah, 5乘55平方是多少？25。Very good. 8减7是1
等于
1。25减1是24。
那我们再看最后一个，你能给我说说，因为我第一次在纽约过春天，我还不知道纽约的春天是什么样子的。
我也不
纽约的春天也很短吗？
纽约的春天，我有的时候是很短的，这年会是比较短的，因为你知道 like 那个 Groundhog's Day， 因为那个动物没看它的影子，所以是说我们会有在2个星期的冬天的时候。
那个形容词，就是我们现在认为它是形容词的那个词儿。它在字典上面，你可以把它列成2个词性，就是形容词词性 adjective 是一个，对，然后 verb 是一个，对，然后 verb 呢，它就用作 verb 这样的句子里面，它就充当谓语。
这就是为什么你如果是把它作为一个形容词从 lexicon 里面提出来了，你在句法里头呢又要把它放到谓语上，怎么可能？ 对不对？所以呢，我就要把你打回去，打到 lexicon 里面，就像他说的，变成2级。
As usual, I would like to start us off with a little bit of warm up. And I would like for you to work in groups for something like 10 minutes to think about the discussion we had last week in our APA session. And there's a specific thing that I would expect from you. Come up with 5 questions to ask another group.
Our second question is that top-down processing and bottom-up processing are 2 fundamental concepts in reading and listening comprehension. So what are the main differences between them?
That's a great one. Group 2, it's your turn to respond to that question.
I think top-down processing uses primarily the learner's prior knowledge and also non-linguistic information. It means visuals, gestures, etc. To process meaning, while bottom-up processing uses the text and language itself at the linguistic level to decode the text for meaning.
Yes.
Okay, so just very basic principles of foreign language assessment. So what are we going to do here today? First of all, we're going to figure out what is a test or an assessment, and why do we have assessment? Why do we give a test? And also, what is the relationship between assessment and learning? And what do we assess? And how do we assess it? And then, of course, hopefully, if there is time, we'd like to actually try it out ourselves, shall we? What's the purpose of assessment in a foreign language program? Just brainstorm a little bit. We do it all the time, but why are we doing it? Let's put it in the chat. To guide instruction, yeah. Assessment of learning progress, yeah. To check progress. Are there other things? Placement, yes.
那今天很开心跟大家分享这个Cool Chinese 里面的 Smart Reading Mandarin 在IB 国际学校的应用。那在此之前，想先跟大家做一下互动，请问大家对 Smart Reading Mandarin 和 IB 国际学校熟悉吗？如果您已经很熟悉了，请按5。如果您不是很熟悉，请按1。我们5、4、3、2、1，请在 Chatting Box 跟我做一下分享，好吗？
I will just wrap up our final session of APA 2 by highlighting what teaching is about. It is about providing conditions. Teaching is about providing conditions in the classroom. And I want to highlight once again the 4 essential conditions that need to be present in the classroom. What are the 4 conditions? Yeah, Jean?
The info.
Info conditions, yeah. Right. So input, negotiation, feedback. Yeah, feedback and output. That's right. Okay, that's it. You know, sounds simple. There's a lot for you still to process, and hopefully as time goes by, you will have the opportunity to revisit some of your notes and the handouts that you have received to help you to continue to think about these things. Because at this point, we expect learning to take place, that maybe some understanding, but real understanding takes time.
Assisted TBLT task design in Chinese language teaching. A 9-day trip to China. We are a team of 3. Ife, Juliana, and me. Here's a quick look at our agenda for today. I will start by introducing the first part, the project overview. After that, Ife will continue with the task design and AI training process. Juliana will introduce the third part, the evaluation and the reflection. And then we will present a 5 minutes macro teaching.
Thank you, Fran. In this presentation, I'll walk you through the evolution of my collaboration with GPT in adapting a structure-based textbook lesson into a fully task-based sequence. I'll highlight a few insights and key moments from my interaction with GPT. This interaction unfolded in 4 distinct stages, each mirroring key principles of task-based language teaching.
好，同学们早上好。
早上好，老师。
你们已经来中国1周啦，感觉怎么样啊？
我吃不饱。
哦，吃不饱。
饭很好吃。
对，中国的食物又便宜又好吃。你们一般在哪儿吃饭？你们一般在哪儿？
在学校。在食堂。
哦，在食堂吃饭。你呢，艾瑞斯？
在学校外面吃。
我们来看今天呢，我们的课呢是这样的，就是用这个性格的测试表，通过2个人对话访谈的方式，然后确定性格类型，找到对应的性格，并需要表述出来。这个我们已经在课下做了一部分了啊，我们稍微练习一下就可以。然后我们要看一个短视频，对自己的性格进行什么呀？特征进行评价，用自己的实际情况来说明是否符合自己。另外呢，最后我们会做集体的一个分享，分组的深入讨论。